All right, here we go. Tom Friedley, Radio Zeitgeist.com. FM partner KAZI 88.7, the voice of Austin. Pre-South by Southwest coming here. Hashtag South by Southwest 2018. Look for promotions at Buzzmill on East Riverside in East Austin. Irie Bean, 2310 South Lamar. And Spider House Complex, north of the University of Texas at Austin, where we teach kids to hate America and the humanities. Those three rooms, it looks like. All right, this is the first podcast with the new toys. Thank you to new producer, my buddy, my new senior VP of content, let's say television, film development, and now co-producer of Radio Zeitgeist, the brand, the podcast at the moment. Mr. Stephen Potter, got a new digital recorder, microphone, the same digital rig that I had, but he knows what he's doing and that stuff, and I'm being blessed with guys who know more about production so I can concentrate on content. All right, to wit. About an hour or so. It is, let's call it between 4 and 5 Central Standard Time here in Austin, Texas. I've closed a deal for Jim Hightower and I, Tom Friedley, to shoot a spec, to do a pilot of a program to replace the half-hour show in San Antonio at KLRN. The very conservative Lamar Smith got his panties in a twist over a journalist down there. What I'll do is I'll link the newspaper article. It's most recent. It's several weeks old now. To give you some background, that'll go into the podcast that I post up online at at the Reverb Nation thing, I guess. All right. To wit, I'll take this on with that show, assuming Jim and I get it. Where do I start? There are two parties in this country right now, two viable parties. One of them lost. One of them cheated, crooked, hashtag crooked, you know who, identity politics, neoliberalism, bringing hot sauce to, the famous African-American Hot 95 station in New York City. I have hot sauce. The same crooked, patrician, self-entitled, arrogant woman. I'm told that this particular woman, you know of who I speak, let's just say hashtag crooked, fill in the blank yourself, Uranium One, hint, hint, married to an infamous beta male rapist who she had the nerve to offer him up as her economic advisor after Bill Clinton, with some help from the other party. These problems transcend both parties. This is why that President Spraytan, I voted for him after what happened to Bernie Sanders. Don't even get me started about Cliff Ironback, and in later shows we'll get into how, let's just say, the so-called run-up to the election between Bernie and crooked you-know-who, there was a big red flag mismatch between the exit polls and the actual final results. The kind of thing that would have the U.S. State Department send up red flags when we monitor elections of so-called banana republics, all right? Cliff Ironback, tell you what, boy, see how good I am. Go to justiceserved.org. It's about election integrity. We don't have it, right? We need it. All right, but for now, there are two parties. The election was November 2016. You don't like the outcome? Suck that stuff up. Your team lost. You know, I get it, but how is it that Americans can be so in love with sports? I mean, I'm being a little silly, but quite serious. You go home after a Texas OU game or a Cowboy Redskin game or the Super Bowl, and by gosh, we gave it a good thing. What if you started saying aliens or Russians or whoever fix the thing from the get-go instead? Well, why would you do it in elections? Why would you let anybody sell you that load of crap? Jim Hightower, he got a grin. I hadn't confessed to Hightower at our morning informal coffee thing, meeting at the place he loves to go to because his house is so close in Travis. I swear to God, about a week ago, that man smiled when I confessed to him, cleared my soul, that I voted for Trump after what happened to Bernie Sanders. He didn't seem to have a problem with it. Jim may be very much a second tier thinker. All right, I won't belabor the spiral dynamics and psychosocial frame too much right now. Let's just keep it simple here now that I'm already nearly 5 minutes in with this thing. The party lost. You want trouble? You want real trouble. Try to overturn that election. I'm just saying. Let's just say, let's keep it simple. There's 320 million Americans, however many adults. There's a whole lot of people who love the Second Amendment. I happen to be a fan of it. Love it? I'm not sure. All right? I don't have a problem with guns. What I'm trying to say is this. You got two sorts of folks. The sorts of folks that need safe spaces, and they're upset about microaggressions. They think violence is never justified. They're for open borders. I'm covering for a KZR FM partner, recording this great Buzzmill comedy night on Wednesdays. I highly recommend. I'm going to make that Buzzmill a national comedy room. Without even thinking about it, I'm setting up, lighting a cigarette, and there's really awesome talents, but it's soaked with that postmodern cultural Marxist crap that all the schools have been teaching for 30 years. The bit was a really smart kid. I want to look up. His name was Michael. I remember he had a Texas Rangers cap on. I couldn't miss. I'm not a sports guy, but I couldn't miss that red tee on the navy blue cap. And the joke was anyone here love the Constitution? I'm the only hand that went up. And I think I told my friend with the APD, a dear friend of mine, Shelley, the other day. She laughed. She knows, she's very savvy, media savvy. She's close enough to my age. She remembers the late great Andy Kaufman. He used to set up those bits there's a heckler in the crowd. I think his name was Bob Zemeckis or something. He's actually the one that wrote the book and the screenplay that became that great biopic that Jim Carrey starred in about the late great Andy Kaufman. I think a lot of folks, if I'd asked him, had the presence of mind to. I was too upset about being the only guy defending Western civilization in America that night. It went something like this. Anyone love the Constitution? Oh, you, sir, in the back. Yep. Ask me why. It's important. What part? All of it. Even the Second Amendment? Yes. Why? Keeps us safe. I let him make, somehow, and to his credit, he kind of Jedi mastered a funny gay joke in my direction. I let him do it, and then I shot off, no gay bars in Muslim countries. No gay bars in Muslim countries. There are no gay bars in Muslim countries for a reason, because they will fucking kill you. That's why. The problem is not with Islam. The problem is with pre-modernism. Spiral dynamics. Let me go ahead and sidebar now. So again, in the coming weeks and months, as soon as Mrs. Beck, Mom I call her, is well enough from her terrible fall this year, they're both 80. Don and that lovely wife I hope to meet one day soon. Hurt herself. But as soon as she's on the mend and Don can break away a weekend and fly down gratis with his good friend Herb Keller of Southwest Airlines that Don helped do decades ago, we're going to give a talk. It's allegedly at Unity Church on 290 called Spiral Dynamics, Racial Polarization in Natural Design. Don Beck, his entire life, has been obsessed with the Civil War. He will tell you, if I put him in, he likes to chuckle, I put him in a time machine like something out of a Hollywood movie and send him back, he could have stopped that shot at Fort Sumter. All right? I've learned a lot from him. This country is still playing with fire. If you want to light a match to it, find a way to unplug Donald Trump when millions see it, rightfully so, as unconstitutional and illegitimate. All right? Don't make me say any more. All right? This is America. You lost. Don calls him a change agent, all right? I can't believe I voted for him, all right? But people that won't talk to me or look at me because I did, F you. Field a better team. Field a better team. That woman, it's clear as day. Never mind Uranium One. Never mind Clinton Global Initiative. Never mind her selling influence to the highest bidder and taking money, $250,000 a pop, from Lloyd Blankfein at Goldman Sachs. And that husband of hers, who's inspired my movie, that's gonna crush in the next year or two. The one Tarantino's too big of a coward to make. Revenge porn against bankers and people who prey on women in the modern day workspace. Again, to quote Tim Geithner, who I'll get for the show once I've inked with New York with Mike and Cumulus in a post Chapter 11 Cumulus here in the coming weeks. In Tim Geithner's book, he's, to his credit, I should take my own advice. I don't know the man. Don't assume that because he's in the system that somehow he's less moral than I am. I don't know him. He seems to be, from what press in that book, Tim Geithner was soul searching. Did he fail America after the mortgage crisis? Bill Clinton said to him, essentially, forget those people. They're not important, right? We could slit Lloyd Blankfein's throat in a dark alley. Words to that effect, it would only calm the bloodlust, satisfy them for about 2 days. You get the idea. He said it on another occasion or two that I could vet if I had time to do it, all right? So again here, 10 minutes in already, Tom Friedley for Radio Zeitgeist. The election has been settled. Stop, all right? And I'm going to sidebar right now. I'll lay it out later. And the psychosocial frame is high resolution. The political frame that's been true enough is no longer serving you well. Let Don Beck and I, over the coming weeks, months, and years, Don's 80, we better hurry, teach you a little spiral dynamics. You can literally change your world. You would have seen this coming like a lot of us suspected, this surprise to so many people. A psychosocial frame takes the political stuff that you're used to. Your neighbor feels is conservative or liberal, libertarian because he or she feels this way about the borders or health care or Islam or a woman's right to choose or why women earn less than men in the workspace, yada, yada, yada. But the part that you don't want to look at, it shows your own cognitive biases. It lets you compare that to others. Claire Gray's singular genius was he figured out that people largely solved problems the same way cognitively, right? Behavioral, behavioral motivational stylings were different, but they arrived at their different answers with the very same mental process. Claire Gray's was a singular genius. Let us teach you this stuff. It's been peer-reviewed. Don Beck avoided civil war in South Africa with it. Too bad he couldn't get to Zimbabwe first. Yes, South Africa has its problems, but this stuff works. Again, go find the movie Invictus. Don is the backstory. I wasn't there when the deal was cut, but he should have gotten more love for it. Let's do it now. I told Don that I wanted to get him the Nobel Peace Prize one day. I better hurry. He's 80, for God's sake. All right. So again, the election is done. So do me a favor. I'm going to reach out to this man. I don't even need to see. First of all, the only TV you need to watch is Tucker Carlson. Yes, that Tucker Carlson. Your scholar is Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley, search for him. He is the preeminent legal scholar at George Washington University. That's why he's tapped by everybody from left to right. Go to him first. Turn off CNN. If you want to stop watching Trump tweets, well, I don't pay attention. I'm too busy with my head down trying to do a company, for God's sake. All right, Tom Friedley. Radio Zeitgeist, the coming Radio Zeitgeist International brand. America's a great country. Western Civilization 101. It's to me, it's defined as much by what it's not as what it is. It lets you be free to be who you are and interact. We're not perfect, but for Christ's sake, we were chimpanzees 6 million years ago slinging shit at one another. I'm telling all the new partners and friends, Stephen, who's going to be editing this in a minute, the longer you draw the timeline of evolution, the more remarkable all this is. Jordan Peterson, call me, is right. Jordan Peterson's right. The default position is not this calm thing where there's relative calm and prosperity and there's coffee when you want it, and even if you're not, there's health, root canals if you can, find it, even if you're poor. That's not the default position of humanity. Oh my God, people still struggling on this planet. We'll ask Don about how the Zulus live, yet they think we're out of our minds. They might be right. Stop trying to overturn that election with porn stars, and he did this, and the hidden tapes, and Russians, and Russians, and Russians. Drain the swamp. Donald Trump will come and go. Don't ruin the American experiment because you're a whiny-ass bitch whose team lost. That team didn't deserve to win. Say what you want about the GOP. It's the only moral party right now. The people were let. The pros, the deplorables, were allowed to have their flawed choice, if you want. The other cheated and lost. I say, Tom Friedley at Radio Zeitgeist, good. I would do it again voting for that guy. Goodbye, crooked Hillary. Go be a Methodist, all right? Go sort yourself out. Go find Jordan Peterson. I think it's understandingmyself.com. Bye.